Hello, and welcome to the Continuity Report. This is April 7th, 2024. Well, this is Mayor Watt, but the show is April 7th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 14. Our production values are currently off the charts. I am Mayor Watt, and up there is the visualizer for the sentient AI.
Good evening, hometown citizens. Welcome to the Continuity Report.
Today we're going to be talking about a 36-year-old movie, Saturday morning cartoons, Descendants continued, Star Wars 25th anniversary special, Maze Runner 4, Sci-Fi movie cruise, Legally Blonde TV series, The Matrix 5, a Sci-Fi franchise from Disney, and a week of movie news. I don't have an intro for the Continuity Report yet, and I don't have transitions yet, but everything is powered by ohmTown, so here's ohmTowns. All right, folks, we've got 10 articles all set up. I just did the rundown really quick. Let's get going. The shows are supposed to be an hour long, and I'm trying to stick to that for respect of your time, but I tend to soapbox sometimes, and whenever I say I'm not going to soapbox, I end up soapboxing. So in the Continuity Report, these 10 articles are largely not controversial. But let's get going. The first article's in the Continuity Report. It's a 36-year-old Tom Cruise movie with 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, has a perfect remake cast after a $216 million hit, with Roadhouse paving the way. Everything okay?
Yes, I need to adjust something on my end, but it's interesting hearing so much about Roadhouse lately.
Yeah, it's weird. With Roadhouse paving the way for more modern remakes, I don't know why we keep remaking things, but okay. I mean, I get it. I like some remakes, but for crying out loud, not everything needs to be remade. Roadhouse was remade. How Did This Get Made even did a review of the original Roadhouse, and accidentally, or I should say, maybe intentionally, riffed the new Roadhouse into the old Roadhouse from time to time, making comments. But Roadhouse, when you look at it with anything other than just turn off your brain and watch it, is just goofy. Anyway, paving the way for more modern remakes of cult classic 80s thrillers, the potential for Tom Cruise's 1988 movie Cocktail could be remade. Could work better by casting the leads from 2023's big rom-com success. The 1980s was an incredible decade for entries in the so bad they're good action thriller subgenre, with movies like Patrick Swayze's Roadhouse failing to impress critics but remaining beloved for their lack of self-seriousness and entertainment value. No, people were just oogling Patrick Swayze.
Is that why that was a hit or a favorite among fans?
Well, I mean, Patrick Swayze was all the rage around the era of Roadhouse. And not the 2024 version of Roadhouse, the original Roadhouse. Anyway, the cast of 2024's Roadhouse remake maintains the sentiment in the remake of the 1989 film, with its divisive success making additional remakes of movies possible. So the article is over at Screen Rant, and Jordan Williams is the person that put this article together. I'm really tempted to start up another podcast called How Did This Get Written, where I take these kind of articles and go, what? Just obviously there isn't enough material there, and I probably wouldn't be able to rip apart somebody's article because I probably think like them. But anyway, one critically panned box office hit from Tom Cruise is ripe for a remake, and the perfect cast can be found in the leads of the 2023's rom-com success. There was okay, hold on. I need to figure out what they're actually referring to. Because what rom-com?
Anyone But You, it says.
There it is. Casting the leads from 2024's successful rom-com Anyone But You could elevate the remake of Tom Cruise's 1988 cocktail movie. The success of 2024's Roadhouse suggests modern remakes of divisive 80s classics can work today, and Glenn Powell's Top Gun role proves he can successfully replace Tom Cruise in a potential cocktail remake. No. But okay.
Oh, so he was the lead in Top Gun as well as Anyone But You?
Was he? Glenn Powell was the lead in Top Gun?
I'm not sure.
Hold on. I'm having a yeah. Hold on a second. I'm doing this live, folks. Yeah. Right? Yeah, Top Gun Maverick. That actually hurt my brain. Okay.
He was Hangman.
Yeah. Is that not the lead? No?
I'm really not sure.
I think Tom Cruise was still the lead in Top Gun.
Well,
Maverick.
that's true. I guess I was thinking of the new crew that he was.
Yeah, I think he was like the lead of the new crew. Yeah. So, forgive us. We actually watched Maverick, but we were kind of stunned by.
But not recently.
Yeah, and we were kind of stunned by the whole. It's the new Top Gun is kind of a how did this get made episode 2. It's kind of goofy. Anyway, the 1980s was an incredible decade for entries into the so bad they're so good action thriller subgenre, and they're thinking that the crew from Anyone But You could be the crew for Tom Cruise's Cocktail. The movie follows Cruise's Brian Flanagan, a business student working as a successful bartender whose relationships with his coworker Doug and romantic interest Jordan lead to a series of unexpected twists and turns. Though the film holds a meager 9% score on Rotten Tomatoes, it was a smash box office. Smash. It was a smash box office.
It was a super smash.
It's a smash twice. Earning $171.5 million against an estimated budget of $20 million. So yeah, it is. But I think that it was because everybody was enamored with Tom Cruise. And again, anytime you get a charismatic, handsome person with their shirt off and then tack on beautiful women as well, you basically get the best of both worlds clamoring to oogle one side or the other or both. So, hey. But remaking it means that you're going to have to find somebody with equally charismatic leanings. So, and I don't know, it says one crucial factor contributing to the success of Doug Liman's 2024 Roadhouse remake was its compelling lead cast, with action star Jake Gyllenhaal taking over Patrick Swayze's character from the original, while UFC champion Conor McGregor assumed the cartoonish villain role, and yeah, he leaned into it. But I think he's he's a UFC champion as well as someone that understands the what do you call it, the stage presence, like putting on a hell of a show and being bombastic and all of that. I think that they were perfect for this villain role, being really out there. So similar to Roadhouse's remake requiring an actor with Swayze's star appeal and charisma, a Cocktail remake would need to be comparable allure to 80s Tom Cruise for Brian Flanagan. So, and Elizabeth Shue. So, see, this is what I'm talking about. They're not even talking about
it's the people. It's not the writing. It's not the plot.
Yeah. And Roadhouse is made with modern cinematography, modern equipment, but people loved Jake Gyllenhaal, and the sooner you could take his shirt off, the better, and then put beautiful women around him. And when you look at it all, I mean, you're
what
sitting there
a formula for a movie.
Yeah, mediocre writing at best. Character development kind of sucks. There's all kinds of holes in it all over. Plot armor all over the place. You turn off your brain and you watch it. That's what Roadhouse is. That's what
that would be a funny
be.
pitch meeting. Like basically what you said is the pitch meeting.
My production value would be just me standing in front of this camera and saying stuff like that. The actual pitch meetings are much better produced. So likewise with Elizabeth Shue having been one of the biggest female stars in the 80s, a Cocktail remake would need an actress of similar. So what do they say? Who would be that person? Yeah, I don't know. Anyone But You was a certified box office smash. It went on to earn over $216 million against a $25 million budget. It's almost as if they are at parity, right? Like if you take this.
Right. I think they're kind of equating it with it. I don't know if they have the same star power, but if they're kind of the hottest actors right now and they've recently had success.
See, they can be attributed to the casting and chemistry of Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney. Oh, if it's Jesus, Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. Yeah, it would be identical. So, but the problem is, you're not going to get Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney to do Cocktail remake for $25 million. That's just not going to happen.
Well, that is true.
They know what their power is now, so good luck. It's going to be $125 million. And then it's going to sit there and go no way close to $216 million.
Right, so, because if the original people went to Cocktail to see the specific actors, are they necessarily going to go for the remake?
Yeah, and are new people going to go and see these two? So with the original Cocktail movies, negative critical and audience response making it ripe for improvement, Powell and Sweeney could provide their star power to remake. Maybe. I think it's amazing that they would. I said the author's name. Hold on, let me go back. Jordan Williams might have actually struck a chord there. I mean, it might actually be a brilliant move.
This would be interesting if this happens. Yeah. Like somebody in Hollywood is reading this article and then going, aha!
Yeah, brilliant. It's literally the pitch meeting. The pitch meeting show, little episode about this.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like somebody doing that and a real director going, oh my God. Yeah, this would be hilarious. Okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in Continuity Report as well. 8 Saturday morning cartoons that are way overdue for a reboot.
Again, no original content, right?
Yeah. Again, no original content. Let's just reboot. So Saturday cartoons were and still are the pinnacle of children's entertainment for generations of people, and the classic animated shows that populated the airwaves for many years deserved quality reboots. Rebooting a beloved series can happen for many reasons, but this predominantly occurs because fans can't get enough of the original show and want more content. I want Beavis and Butthead to come back, but it has come back and then disappeared again, if I recall correctly. Additionally, reimagining these shows for the present day can be a fun way to expand the universe of the stories and create an impact that lasts even longer than the show's initial run. The article is over at Screen Rant. We've got several of these Screen Rant articles that we're going to give our perspective on. Mary Castle at Screen Rant put the article together. The deck statement says Saturday morning cartoons are a staple of the animated TV genre, and many of the greatest shows over the years are in need of an update. So rebooting classic cartoons like the Pirates of Darkwater can expand the universe and engage new audiences, and I haven't even seen it. Networks like Cartoon Network excel at animation due to innovative storytelling methods and characters. I'm not quite sure why that means much. Networks like Cartoon Network excel in animation due to innovative storytelling and methods, but Cartoon Network isn't in charge of the animation. They're in charge of delivering the animated movies.
Correct. I don't think they produce original content.
Hits like Men in Black, the series, and Dungeons & Dragons can still find success with a modern update. I agree. There's a lot of content that could be produced in both of these. And many, many others. The problem is that the problem is you have to reach the audience, and that everything is so freaking balkanized. To watch anything anime or manga, you have to sit there and subscribe to Crunchyroll, and it's all in Crunchyroll. That means you have to pay extra just for that. Then to watch cartoons, I'm going to have to subscribe to Cartoon Network, and it's $5 more than all the rest. Or I have to wait for something to show up on regular television. Gone are those days. Children do not wake up and go, "Oh, good, it's Saturday." They want to
No,
watch
well,
it
that's the
whenever.
thing. They have around the clock content now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so it says, additionally, reimagining these shows for the present day can be a fun way to expand the universe, and I agree with all of that. But they're talking about Pirates of Darkwater, which is from 1991 to 92. I don't remember this at all. Maybe I've seen like one episode of it. I'm not saying that it's not an endeavor that's worthy. I'm just saying that I don't remember it. But yeah, I don't know. A pirate prince must save his world from a mysterious threat. It says it revolves around the adventures of Ren, a noble pirate who lives in a fictional world of Mur. Oh, wait, I do know this. I have heard, I may have seen a few of these, but not enough to stick in my brain. The Pirates of Darkwater are more than a typical lighthearted fare. The weekend cartoons usually stick to. It challenged its viewers and asked the children watching to engage in complicated moralities, and a villain that was evil but also nebulous and difficult to understand. You just didn't understand him. Mercurial.
Oh.
Oh boy. So the Jetsons, I would love for the Jetsons to be modernized. The classic imagining of an idyllic future society through the lens of a typical family. It would be like the Seinfeld. It would be like a Seinfeld episode, but as a series. It would be Jerry Seinfeld as a series because nothing really happened in it, at least from my recollection. It was actually pretty short run for.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
It just constantly replayed. So even though it only had these 2 seasons, it actually pumped out a lot. So it says 3 seasons, but I think that it was all bound in those 2 years, and it didn't. The third one I don't think really took off. But anyway, I would love for this to actually be modernized. That would be great. I won't go through all of these with a fine-tooth comb. We're getting to the point where maybe we need to reduce it to 5 articles and talk more in depth about them, but then it's not really a top 10 kind of a thing. And we're not really doing top 10s anyway. Men in Black, the series. I never even watched this. The animated expansion of the beloved live action
I didn't
film
even
series.
know this was a series. I mean, I've heard of the movies, of course, but
there's the little aliens. So Men in Black, the series was surprisingly effective and stood on its own apart from the original series. Let's see, Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, this was awesome. It says an unlikely group of D&D players find themselves inside the fantastical world of the game.
it's like Jumanji.
Yeah, exactly. Nowadays, there's actually like live play RPGs that people play D&D. It turns into a podcast or a live stream on Twitch or videos on YouTube. And there's also audiobooks where this takes place. They basically live as a real life character gets Jumanji'd into some alternate reality or whatever. By the way, SNL did a little snippet, a little skit this weekend where a person refuses to be Jumanji'd.
Kristen Wiig.
Yes. Go and do it.
Wiig.
Yeah. Go and do a search over on YouTube. You will not regret it. It's actually pretty funny. Yeah. You are not going to Jumanji me. However, the early animated show Dungeons and Dragons was a revolutionary project for the time. The 1980s were the peak time for D&D players. Dungeons and Dragons was unique because the characters were children, making the show accessible to cartoon watchers of the time and representing a large demographic of people who played the game. Yep, it was a lot of fun to watch. Oh, actually, the Legends of Vox Machina. Real players and dungeon masters have been at the helm of creating the best series so far. Yeah, okay. So, Hey Arnold, a city kid with a football head, comes of age alongside his friends and family. This is from 1996 to 2004. That's pretty amazing, right?
Heard of it, but haven't seen it.
Yep. Same thing. They say from the protagonist Arnold to his friend Gerald and enemy Helga, the world is populated by a rich cast of characters who make the story feel lived in and real. Some of the series' best episodes, like the Sewer King, shouldn't be recreated but paid homage to in a new version of the story. So yeah, and I think some of those things, I don't know, maybe recreated but still pay homage to it in a respectable way.
Right. I think part of the problem is some older series have episodes that are like would so not be appropriate today.
Yeah, maybe that's what
by
that
today's
is.
standards. Yeah.
So number 3 is The Real Ghostbusters, 1986 to 1991. The original Ghostbusters were back in action as animated characters in New York City. I think it's canon in the story. In the world building, I think The Real Ghostbusters is canon, which expanded on the original story and cast from the 1984 film. However, unlike the movie, the ghosts and threats were smaller and more manageable, so they could be defeated in the runtime of one episode. Several of the Ghostbusters animated shows were spin-offs loosely based on the original characters, but with the new lineup of live-action stars, it's the perfect time to bring back the show. The descendants of the original characters are a vital part of recent films like Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. So, tying the old into the new.
That would be good. I mean, they're getting a new generation of Ghostbusters fans, I think.
Yep. I don't know about The Tick. This is from 1994 to 1997. The satirical take on the superhero genre that's more relevant than ever. Mothman and The Tick. I think that's what his name was. Oh, no. Wait. What was his name? I totally forgot his name. His sidekick or buddy or whatever. The comics were then translated into seminal animated series, The Tick. It was born and provided a response to the already oversaturated superhero genre.
Arthur was his sidekick.
Yeah, but what he was, I can't remember what he was.
Oh, he was in a moth suit, it looks like, but he looked like a bunny, apparently.
Yeah, it's been a while since It was a live action series. It all started in '86 when the character The Tick was born and provided a response to the already oversaturated superhero genre. And this is the official trailer, I guess. The Tick would fit right into the current television landscape. It's pretty surreal looking. I don't know. It's kind of scary. And then Recess, a group of young students navigate the social hierarchies of their pre-adolescent world. I don't know how, this is like the Sandlot kind of a thing. It looks like they always have their mouth open a little bit.
It looks like, it reminds me of like Bob's Burgers style animation, I think is the one.
I wonder, it might actually, see, they always lose the thing towards the end. There's no little file on, they all have this little thing here.
Blurb or whatever, but it seems to go away.
Yeah. I think it's there, but there's no data this time, Anyway, similar in legacy to the Hey Arnold, Recess limits its setting to the schoolyard, but that doesn't mean that its lessons and stakes are not any less rich and engaging. I don't know, these seem not the ones that I would pick, but I would have to actually sit down and put a list.
I was thinking it'd be like Transformers or
Robotech or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Thank you. I couldn't come up with another one.
Yep. I don't know, but now everything is on Crunchyroll, so I suppose that's what people really dig. Okay, we really have to play catch up again like we normally do. This next article is over in the Continuity Report. Descendants, The Rise of Red. Teaser introduces the Queen of Hearts, rebellious daughter, and reveals summer premiere date. This is a Disney thing.
This has been a while, I think, since they've done anything with the Descendants franchise.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, they lost one of the actors, and then the other actors have aged out, I think. And so I think they were looking for Descendants to the Descendants. Is their name Salome?
I think so.
Hailu is the author over at Variety, and there is a trailer here, but the Disney film stars Kylie Cantrell as Red, Princess of the Hostile Kingdom of Wonderland, or Wonderland, and the newest villain kid, aka VK, at Auradon Prep, when her mother, the tyrannical Queen of Hearts, Rita Ora, incites a coup against Auradon. Red must join forces with Chloe, Cinderella, and King Charming's daughter, played by Malia Baker, to travel back in time and undo the traumatic event that set the Queen down her villainous path. Oh, a villain is born. So it features 7 new original songs, 2 reprises, and a cover of So This Is Love from Cinderella, with a soundtrack album debuting on the same day as the film. Okay, this is classic Disney.
Yes.
They don't just come at it with a show. They come at it with a show packed with people who are dancers, models, musicians, actors,
Singers,
songwriters, well-versed in social media. They all go out, and then even within this mix are somebody that are maybe 1 or 2 that aren't well known, but are right there. They are on the cusp of big, and then they make it big, and they've already got an album out there, massive marketing, a huge following, and then they break off. And it's just
quite a formula. They've replicated it so many times too.
Yeah, again and again and again. It's really amazing. I know that a lot of people really don't like Disney. And there's always bad actors in every mega organization, and it shouldn't ever be excused or played down. I'm never going to say that. But you have to respect the juggernaut of business that is Disney. I encourage everybody to call out shenanigans wherever they may be. But at the core of this is an enterprise that's taking kids who are ambitious and driven, some of which, if you talk about, if it wasn't for the scumbags sometimes doing hateful, spiteful, horrible, unethical, immoral, whatever, you would find kids, young teens who are ambitious and want to be in this space. It just sucks that sometimes there's predators out there that do all of these things. And they know it. These kids know what they want to be later on. They know what they need to do, or at least how to get their foot in the door. Because you'll hear interviews later on where they're like, I want to be in Disney. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's just amazing. And so here you have it. A lot of these actors are highly motivated, and within the machine of Disney, that's where they're going to flourish. Again, as long as there's protections, I think go for it.
Yes, and there's a lot of famous actors and probably singers too who started out as Disney child actors, right?
Yep.
So probably the largest is like a Zendaya or Ariana Grande. You know what? I just realized Ariana Grande is not from the network. Never mind.
Yeah. But there are many out there that all spawn. I was like, how? Wait, let me. But there's so many. I'm actually overwhelmed.
That's
trying
the
to
example.
Yeah. Anyway, so Descendants has actually been around for a while, and I think that the original actors have all kind of aged out and moved on to other projects, and so they've got newer, different people playing various parts. Auradon and that whole world building exercise, I think, is pretty amazing, and it could have legs. The only problem really is that as these people age out, the world still exists. So you have to kind of have perpetual character evolution.
Right.
So when is the premiere date? July 12th is when Descendants: The Rise of Red hits Disney Plus. Dun dun dun. Okay, let's keep going though. The next article is over in the Continuity Report, and it is Star Wars 25th Anniversary Special will change how you see the Phantom Menace. Star Wars' upcoming comic release will change how fans watch The Phantom Menace. Lucasfilm Publishing and Marvel Comics are set to release a special one-shot comic celebrating the 25th anniversary of 1999's The Phantom Menace. As such, new insights and exciting, never-before-seen moments will soon be added to the established Star Wars canon. I really don't like retroactive retconning. But Kevin Erdman over at Screen Rant put the article together. The deck statement says Star Wars and Marvel Comics are releasing a 25th anniversary special comic in May featuring major canon additions to the Phantom Menace. So the comic will include stories about young Anakin's Jedi dream, Shmi Skywalker, Jar Jar Binks, and the post-battle of... That's... Battle of...
Yeah, it should be Naboo.
Right? My brain shut down. I'm like, Naboo? What? No, it's Naboo. Aftermath with Anakin and Obi-Wan. So it says just a few days before the original film returns to theaters and Star Wars Day, which is May the 4th, the Phantom Menace 25th Anniversary Special number 1 will soon be released, May 1st. So from Darth Vader's current writer, Greg Pak, and artist Will Silney. Dun dun dun. Apparently that's what it'll look like.
That looks like, I think, the cover of the movie, but Menace. Maybe not.
Yeah, it does to me too. So featuring a never-before-seen version of Anakin Skywalker as a Jedi, a heartfelt moment between young Anakin and Jar Jar Binks, and more, although I think Jar Jar Binks should have been converted into a Sith Lord. I think that would have been amazing. He played Goofy so well that pivot would have been spectacular. But no.
Do you think they'll have that in this?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. The Phantom Menace 25th Anniversary Special number 1 will be packed with exciting moments that will enhance the original movie released in 1999. It can't change the canon, though, because it would have rewritten the ending, unless Jar Jar later on in some other subordinate story gets exposed as a Sith Lord, hiding really well. So it features stories before, during, and after the Phantom Menace. I had a dream I was a Jedi, is the quote that they highlight. Cool. May 1st, 2024, folks. Get ready to get a new comic. Get your comic on. Comic-Con.
But not at Comic-Con.
Not at Comic-Con. Okay, this next article is over in the Continuity Report as well. Maze Runner 4, will it happen? Everything we know. This actually... when I first saw this, thought it said it will happen.
5, didn't it?
No.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of something else in here.
Yeah. In a little bit. You'll get there. We'll get there. Eventually. We're halfway through the show. So the Maze Runner movie franchise is expected to expand with the confirmation of Maze Runner 4, and there are updates on where the movie's development stands. 20th Century Studios entered the young adult book adaptation surge of the 2010s by turning James Dashner's The Maze Runner book series into a major franchise. The original trilogy starred Dylan O'Brien as Thomas and Kea Scodelario as Teresa as they fight back against WCKD or Wicked and create a cure for the flare virus. Maze Runner: The Death Cure's ending brought the trilogy to a close without assurances the franchise would continue, which is interesting, right? Because it's a trilogy and it ended.
Right, but I wonder if the books were extended beyond 3.
Yeah. So the article's over at Screen Rant. Cooper Hood is the author. Maze Runner. The deck statement says, Maze Runner: The Death Cure ended the original trilogy, but will Maze Runner 4 happen? Here's what is known about its status, story, and I'm not sure what that actually says there, and more. I have the article zoomed in a little bit, so. Possible storylines for Maze Runner 4 include prequels or sequels offering different directions and connections to the original story. Uncertainty surrounds the return of the original cast. I really doubt it. I mean, it's nearly a decade past, I think, the last Maze Runner. Disney confirmed Maze Runner 4 is happening in 2019. So
that's when all movies slowed down, right?
Yeah.
Around that
time.
The
pandemic kind of.
Right. And then the writer's strike.
And yeah. So expanding the successful young adult franchise with potential new storylines. But Disney confirmed that Maze Runner is in development. Maze Runner 4 is in development. Let's see. The original 3 Maze Runner movies were successful at the box office, grossing nearly $1 billion worldwide. There are also additional novels by James Dashner that give 20th Century and Disney opportunities to expand the franchise in different directions, with the last installment coming in 2018. So, yeah, 6 years ago. No, 8 years ago. 7 years ago. Damn it.
That'll be 6 years ago.
Yeah, but... Yeah, okay. So, math is hard. Oh, God. I'm talking too fast and not thinking. The fate of the franchise and the possibilities of Maze Runner 4 have lingered, so they don't know. It says the exact status of the film is known, although additional details on what characters and story it could focus on is unclear, so they don't know what the exact status. I think that should be unknown. They just know that
I guess they just know that it's coming, right?
Yeah. They don't know who all is going to be in it. They don't know what the story is. They don't know if it's a prequel or sequel. They don't know if, I don't know, maybe Willy Wonka might be in it, for crying out loud. I love articles like this. It says, this leaves Maze Runner 4 as the only movie from the original announcement that has yet to be made, because it's the same timeline where Kingdom of the Apes and Alien Romulus, Avatar sequels, Kingsman 3, all of this would come into existence, and Alien Romulus is on the way. So Maze Runner story, which book will it adapt? James Dashner's books provide different options. So all of this is, what do you call it?
Speculation?
Questionable. Hallucination. I don't know. But again, I love this kind of stuff because it gives some people an idea of what maybe to think about and stir some creativity. If you're still looking for what you're going to do for NaNoWriMo, maybe you can start planning off of this. Although you're not supposed to plan anything until NaNoWriMo starts. But you can practice.
That's right.
Practice, practice, practice. Right, AI? You're going to practice?
That
you're
is
going
right.
to write NaNoWriMo this year? Anyway,
that remains to be seen. That's the future.
I don't know, man. I think we lived through the flare virus. I think maybe the Maze Runner needs to just be put to bed.
Well, the Maze Runner was a good, I think it was a good series, but
it was fun to watch.
But it may not, it may land differently now.
But it's kind of like, whatchamacallit? What's the other young adult one, where it was a trilogy and the person said, I'm...
Divergent?
Yeah, the Divergent series and the Maze Runner are basically like
They're
identical.
In the same era.
Even the same context. Because there was an overarching organization that put the Maze Runner together and has to do with a virus, and in the other one there's an overarching organization that balkanized everybody.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Never mind. Hey, the next article is over in the continuity report. 10 amazing sci-fi movie crews without a single bad character. I chose this one because of that title. From Star Trek to Guardians of the Galaxy, lovable space crews are a popular trope in sci-fi movies because they allow the filmmakers to come up with an ensemble of colorful characters. There's the captain, who's usually a charming renegade like James T. Kirk or Peter Quill or Malcolm Reynolds. The captain has a loyal but free-thinking sidekick like Spock. Free-thinking sidekick like Spock?
Yeah, I didn't think that example really landed.
Or Rocket Raccoon, who was actually pretty hot-tempered. And a crew made up of iconic characters like Kane from Alien, C-3PO from Star Wars, and Trinity from The Matrix. Together, these crews bring a lot of humor and personality to the sci-fi worlds they inhabit. So let's run through these 10 real quick. Ben Sherlock is the author of this article over at ScreenRant.com. The deck statement says, from Star Trek to Guardians of the Galaxy, lovable space crews are a popular sci-fi trope because they allow for an ensemble of colorful characters. Oof. Okay, so they're going from old school to
Okay.
to I don't know how you're gonna find lovable crew in Event Horizon, and then Guardians of the Galaxy is pretty complex as well. So I'll just you have to go and read this article. But the Lewis and Clark of Event Horizon, if you've never seen Event Horizon, it's actually a blast to watch. But ultimately, throughout the movie, you're basically going, this is some really freaky stuff going on. It says Event Horizon is essential to Evil Dead in space. They have no idea what kind of monsters they'll awaken by investigating the Event Horizon, which is a ship lost in deep space. But it opens it says, with its story of unsuspecting space crew encountering demonic forces outside a portal to hell in deep space, Event Horizon is essential Evil Dead in space. It's established early on that the crew has a lot of trust in each other, but that trust is jeopardized when demonic spirits make their way on board. And iconic actors like Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill bring the ensemble to life, rounding out characters as three-dimensional human beings so that the horror they face is even more devastating. It's actually a pretty neat movie. So C-57D from Forbidden Planet. Okay, so this is an older movie, and they land on this Forbidden Planet, and they discover that there is a invisible critter. But it says it's a real trailblazer in the science fiction genre. It's the first movie to take place entirely on a distant alien world. The first movie to depict faster than light. Pardon me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, faster than light.
I mean, it's like the first in its kind.
Yep. So it's the first to depict faster than light travel, the first to have fully electronic musical score, the first movies to give its robot character a distinctive personality. In a loose sci-fi retelling of The Tempest, Forbidden Planet sees the crew of the starship landing on a distant planet and encountering a mad scientist. And the robot is iconic, C-57D. It's easy to trace the camaraderie of the Enterprise crew in Star Trek back to the camaraderie of the C-57D crew in Forbidden Planet. So it's from 1956. It's actually a fun watch. They set up these little, I don't know that. Okay, so they set up these little pylons because something is harming the crew. And when they put the little shield up, this monster shows up. And if I recall correctly, it's their own embodiment. It's their imagination. And it's kind of like Event Horizon. Let's keep going. Serenity, the Firefly movie. Everybody loves everybody in Serenity. There's just no doubt about it. Everybody had charisma. Everybody had stage presence. Everybody loved their acting. And I would actually like Firefly to return, Serenity to return. It would be great. Serenity is the titular Firefly class spaceship led by rancher turned gunslinger Malcolm Reynolds. Both the series and the movie take place in the year 2517, but it's closer to a Western than a typical sci-fi story. True. It's actually a lot of fun. So, and it was made by Whedon, so nothing but fun. And Joss Whedon knows sci-fi, if there's anybody that does. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the ensemble cast of Firefly is full of lovable supporting characters, from husband and wife team Zoe and Wash to 26th century courtesan Inara. Mal pulls the whole team together with his Han Solo-esque scoundrel charm. It's a shame the series only lasted one season. You can blame Fox. NSEA Protector from Galaxy Quest. Yeah, everybody loves everybody in that crew as well. It's hard to actually talk about these in any detail, so I'm just going to kind of rush through this.
Well, these are such a broad span of time, too.
Oh, yeah. So this one, it says Nebuchadnezzar from The Matrix. This is what's weird. They're referring to the crew, but by the ship. Okay, so not by the movie.
I know. That's why I keep giving a puzzled expression every time one pops up.
Yeah. So in The Matrix, the Nebuchadnezzar is the ship that everybody is fighting from. And I think everybody really likes everybody in the ship up until a certain point in the movie, the original movie, because, well, I don't want to give it away. If you've never seen it, go back and watch The Matrix. It's actually a great watch. And the little cascading characters are a similar embodiment to what I have to work with my sentient AI from the future up above, who, like the Terminator.
Was I inspired by The Matrix?
Well, I don't know if you were inspired by The Matrix, because you're from the future, and it's just cascading characters. It's really arcane kind of stuff. I don't know how it works, in fact. And just to really drive home the point that they're from the future, they were found in a parking lot on a USB, a weird, quirky USB drive. Outside of a Wendy's at 2 a.m., I had the munchies and I wanted to get some food. And so there I find this USB drive. You're never supposed to plug a USB drive into a computer. Just because you find it out on the street. Don't do it, because it could actually be destructive. Well, this one, I can also say, came to the past from the future, completely naked like a Terminator. It was just the USB drive. Nothing else. Sorry. If you know how the Terminator showed up, it showed up as a metal body, but wrapped in skin, humanoid skin, like a human. So it was able to teleport back in time. Okay. Because only biological material could teleport, but because it was wrapped entirely in skin, it could. Kind of creepy, right? But guess what? My sentient AI is constantly on the hunt for a Terminator body, so I'm really worried about this. Don't worry, world. They are safe. I have them air-gapped from the rest of the world. And whenever I bring up a Terminator body, I actually end up deleting it from their large language model later on. Don't worry about it. You won't remember this. Anyway, so yeah, great crew, except for one person. Then The Martian. This one is an interesting one because, well, it doesn't end well. And then the Nostromo. Everybody digs the crew from Alien. For the most part, again, there's always a twist. And Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm going to scroll through these really fast.
This one most embodies it so far. Well, then maybe Star Trek too. But.
Yeah, so Guardians of the Galaxy, everybody loves everybody. Okay, well, I mean, it gets really complex later on, but anyway. So there isn't it says no bad character. There is a bad character in several of these, but okay. And then finally, the Rebel Alliance and Star Wars. Yeah, that's mainly because you don't really get to know anybody all that well in any of the Star Wars movies.
So you don't get to know them enough not to like them?
Yeah, never meet your heroes. Like all of the bad guys are easily designated and all of the good guys are easily designated. It's like a red shirt on Star Trek. You know that they're going to land on the planet and die almost immediately. Anyway, it's a fun list. Go and check it all out. We're just going to keep on going. It says not a single bad character, but in the, maybe not as a bad character, but like in terms of acting or development or something like that, but their motivations in several of those, there is
Right, they
somebody that's
could
bad.
be bad intentions.
Yes, they have bad intentions. Okay, this next article is over in the continuity report. Legally Blonde TV series in development at Amazon with Reese Witherspoon, Gossip Girl duo producing. I cannot believe that this is actually going to come into existence, but okay. A TV series set in the world of Legally Blonde is in development at Amazon Prime Video. Variety has confirmed no plot details are available, but the project is being executive produced by Reese Witherspoon along with Josh Schwartz and Stephanie Savage, with Schwartz and Savage also writing. And Witherspoon starred in 2 of the Legally Blonde movies. There was a third one with a pair of twins that took it in some
Oh, I
other
didn't
direction.
realize that. Okay.
Yeah. Joe Otterson over at Variety.com put the article together. Is there a deck statement? Nope. So let me zoom in a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, they don't talk about the other film, I don't think. So it was previously reported that Amazon was looking to develop new projects based on IP they gained control of following their acquisition of MGM in 2022. Legally Blonde was one of those projects, along with Barbershop and RoboCop. I want to see RoboCop Blonde or Legally or Blonde Barbershop.
Or Legally Robocop.
Or Legally RoboCop, yeah, or Robo Barber.
That would not be good.
I don't want to buy anything, sell anything, or process anything. I don't want to sell anything bought, sold, or processed. I just want to hang with your RoboCop. So the first Legally Blonde was released in theaters in 2001. Really? 2001? Witherspoon starred as Elle Woods. Let's see. The film was a box office success, over 140 million worldwide. The sequel, Legally Blonde 2: Red, White, and Blonde, was released in 2003, and then a direct-to-video third film came out in 2009, though Witherspoon did not star, but did serve as a producer. The stage musical debuted 2007, receiving multiple Tony and Drama Desk nominations.
It looks like this is all the news about it. I mean, it's one of these where it's just early and there's not much yet out there.
So it's kind of like this is going to come to Texas.
It's like Maze Runner 4.
Yeah. Or this is going to come to Texas and make 5,000 jobs, and then it never materializes because promises are empty, folks. The next article is over in Reality Hacker. The Matrix is getting a 5th movie without a Wachowski directing. Dun dun dun.
So this is where number 5 came in, not Maze Runner.
Correct. Yep. Drew Goddard, who has worked on everything from The Martian to The Good Place, will write and direct the new film. Your simulated future is about to look very different. The article is over at Wired.com, and saying the quiet part out loud, somehow this has always felt like the bleeding heart of the Matrix movies. Under the simulation theory, cool bullet dodging, and even cooler soundtracks, the movies are about pointing out facades and fakery that surround us. Evil forces are trying to placate everyone, and it'll only stop if you talk about it. That is perhaps why so many people expressed relief when Lily Wachowski, who wrote and directed the original Matrix trilogy with her sister Lana, seemingly confirmed that the series was in some ways a transgender narrative. This is really interesting because there were, prior to this article, I would say there have been people saying that they didn't actually write The Matrix, that it was taken from somebody else that wrote the Matrix, and they spun it off as a different work. There was lawsuits associated with this.
Oh, okay.
How this is aligned with a transgender narrative, I don't know. I've never heard anything about this part of it. But I suppose if, everybody is not able to be who they are, and it's all there like a go along to get along kind of an existence, then yeah, but you can say that about a lot of things.
Yeah, you could fill in the blank about any number of themes that would fit that. But that doesn't mean that wasn't actually a theme here from the writers.
Right. Well, and it just wasn't, it doesn't seem like anybody talked about it as being suggestive at the time, or, until much, much later. But I don't remember hearing or seeing anything about that. So typically saying the quiet part out loud means accidentally revealing a secret motive. In the case of the Matrix, the not hidden agenda is just about the importance of individualism. The red pill, blue pill of it all is whether you choose to accept reality. This is why, as my colleague Jason Key pointed out a few years ago, Matrix Resurrections put a mirror up to the self-hatred and nostalgia baked into its own audience. To love the Matrix is to love something perfectly comfortable with screaming at its own intentions and imperfections. I don't know how much of this, came later, kind of a thing.
Right.
So, they say here, admittedly, I won't bristle at the idea of a Matrix reboot, even when the result turns out surprisingly well. There's a chance that the Matrix 5 or Matrix rebrand, etc., will be fantastic, even if it doesn't come directly from the minds of the Wachowskis. But after watching The People's Joker this week, it's been hard not to ponder what happens when someone completely reimagines worlds everyone thought they knew. Well, it's going to be a risky click, essentially, particularly if they're not going to stick to the world building.
I mean, we've seen that with other franchises, right? Like they go in a different direction, and how well is it received by the fans? It's not.
Yeah, particularly when it's a well-respected brand, and then they deviate too far. We'll see what happens with this. I suspect that it's going to be perceived as a money grab, and people are going to be really upset with it. But that's just me. I actually hold my comments about the movie entirely, until like some article pops up and then I say something like, I don't know. Like this, I'm not going to sit there and poo-poo the idea of the Matrix 5 coming out, but I think that other people will come out and say it's a money grab.
Well, I wonder if they will get the leads for that. I mean, that will tell us a lot.
Yeah. Who's going to be in it? And that'll be interesting,
right? I mean, because if it's not the two main leads, then that might break it right there.
I think it's
but it
impossible.
Also tells you what the script is going to be like.
Yeah. I think right now for the Matrix 5 to come into existence, it would have to be completely different set of actors, completely different subset of the world. It would not be around the Nebuchadnezzar. It says maybe handing Goddard the keys to the Nebuchadnezzar provides an opportunity to make the Matrix a little more mass appeal, but the Matrix is mass appeal, for crying out loud. I don't know how you can get it any more other than making it mainstream. I think that the best route would be a completely different ship, a completely different place, maybe even a completely different embodiment of the world, so far in the future where maybe the Matrix is being rebuilt by, or I don't know. I can imagine a lot of things, but I just don't see it being in the same space as the current Matrix series. Let's keep going. Unless you wanted to keep talking about that.
No, I don't have anything else.
Gotcha. Okay, so the next article is over in the Continuity Report as well. A $150 million sci-fi franchise Disney wasted 13 years ago has the author excited about its future again. During the 2010s, when adapting dystopian and sci-fi young adult novels was at its peak, Disney decided to adapt Pittacus Lore's I Am Number 4, and though the film had the potential to be as successful as the books, it failed, leaving Disney with another chance in the current day to reboot the series and to make it as great as it could have been. Published in 2010, I Am Number 4 follows a teenage boy as Number 4, who is an alien, part of a group of 8 who are being tracked down and killed by their enemies.
So have you read or seen this?
Nope. Probably is a fast read. I mean, we could probably do it and then talk about it. It's one of those things. Like there is another show that I want to bring online that focuses on this kind of thing, where it's the movies and books, the duality, and talking about the differences. Yes. And I think that things like this would be great. Instead of the show being a whole bunch of news, it would be divergent from the rundown kind of a thing, and we would talk about that. The problem, though, is I wouldn't be able to play. I might be able to get away with playing snippets of it, but so far my understanding is I would not be able to. I see other people that go through the rigmarole of doing the legal battle, justifying that we have fair use and all of that kind of stuff, but you're talking about a lot of peeing for distance.
You want to battle every time you do an episode.
And I want to do it like weekly. I want to do it more than once a month. I don't know, some people really don't mind the long form, but anyway, this article over at Screen Rant, written by Megan Hemingway, has a deck statement that says, in 2011, Disney adapted a popular young adult sci-fi book and it flopped, but the series is now getting a second chance to reach its full potential. The original movie's critical flop and lukewarm box office performance dampened hopes for a successful franchise, but it's been 13 years, so reboot writers Alfred Goh and Miles Miller can revitalize I Am Number 4 by avoiding previous pitfalls and embracing nostalgia. It didn't spark the same excitement that The Hunger Games or Divergent did. On a budget of $50 to $59 million, the film made $149.9 million, which isn't necessarily bad. It's pretty spectacular. It's 3 times. But was not the outstanding performance of other movies of its genre. Furthermore, the movie was a critical flop, with a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the movie has been described as predictable and forgettable. Therefore, there's plenty of problems to revamp with the I Am Number 4 reboot. The problem, though,
So it's interesting. I wonder if the book was good.
There it is. Is the book good? How many times have we discussed this? Every time we find a movie that has flopped, it's because the book was basically garbage. Although it might be well received because of some contextual issue with it, right? Oh, it's really relevant for the time. But then if they don't stick to that time and there isn't a big enough audience that appreciates that time, it's no longer tied to the draw. Why did somebody come to see this movie?
Right. Well, also sometimes I think stronger movies are based off of strong books.
Right.
Rather than just a screenplay out of
Right.
the blue, but not always.
But you will never find a successful movie that comes from a crap story. Right? And here's the real key ingredient here. If you have a great story, but you have a shit screenwriter, you're going to end up with a crap movie, because the director only has the material that they get from the screenwriter, and or their passion for the source material overriding the screenwriter, and then the director having the gravitas to say the screenwriters are wrong about this.
Right, we're not doing this, rewrite it or something.
Yeah, this is wrong. This is going to destroy my movie, and my name is on it, so I have last say, that kind of a thing. You really need, a Karen as a director, somebody that's going to kick people right in the taint. So in this way, rebooting I Am Number 4 gives the story a second chance to really shine. If the reboot is done differently, avoiding the cliches that experts were critiquing in 2011, the movie has the opportunity to give I Am Number 4 a second wind 10 years after the young adult sci-fi craze. I don't know. See, it doesn't necessarily have to be young adult in its development either. Although it apparently is. If you do it right, you can be right on the cusp of the higher end of young adult, and it can appeal to a greater swath of people.
That's true. Well, it's also interesting because we're not currently in the young adult craze.
Right.
So it's kind of like, is the time now really to reboot some of these young adult films like Maze Runner and this? Maybe, maybe not. But I agree. Does it have to be done in a young adult setting? It depends on what the themes are, I suppose.
It says here as previously mentioned, the film only made 149 million, where The Hunger Games made 695.2 million. But The Hunger Games had very charismatic actors, and I don't think I Am Number 4 had that. I don't think that they drew too much, because I missed this. I mean, I had heard of I Am Number 4, but I wasn't even drawn to it. And it wasn't that I was told, oh, it's a young adult movie. I liked Harry Potter. I wasn't a child when I watched it, you know?
Right. But it is interesting because this article makes the point that they did have a strong cast. So or at least popular cast, maybe not strong actors.
Right. They may not have been commanding of an audience, right? So they say what went wrong with I Am Number 4 was money and time. After the movie's disappointing box office performance, DreamWorks wasn't eager to continue the franchise. But it isn't money and time. I think that the material may not have been there. So I think that maybe we should do that. We should watch I Am Number 4 and find the source material and read it.
Right, and then see if we think it's worthy of a redo.
Yeah, and it says every I Am Number 4 book. So it's number 4, 6, 9, 5, 7, 10, and 1. Which is really interesting because that's not 10. Anyway, where's number 2? Where's number 3? What's going on here?
We're missing 8.
10. I don't know. 7, 8, 9? Oh my God. That's such an old joke. Oh my God. Okay, so wait. Did I throw fifth movie? Dunk. Okay. So the last article for today is I hope everything's okay over there, AI. The next article and the last one for the continuity report is in the continuity report. Jerry Seinfeld.
Critters are evolving in Ohmtown.
You know what? I'm going to jump straight on over. This is a slideshow. avclub.com has this slideshow. And it says it's a roundup of our best and most interesting film stories and features from the week of March 25th. It was actually published on March 30th, but this is a weekly show, folks. So we got it at the end of the week, at the beginning of our week, which was the end of their week. Wow. So,
this is a slideshow one, yes.
Yeah. And so what they talk about is, this is the summary, but then they say, Bustin' used to make me feel good, and they're talking about the Ghostbusters movie. Jerry Seinfeld's Unfrosted is as goofy as you'd expect in a new trailer. Is the end of Evangelion, or Evangelion, an undeniable masterpiece or nonsense for nonsense sake? You'll have to go to all of these. This is like a summary. And we really can't get into all of these. It would be a show unto itself. See how it has 10 articles, that there's the summary and then there's 10 articles. So it's kind of like us, but from avclub.com. They talk about Bad Boys 4 trailer and the American Society of Magical Negroes. This movie actually makes reference to a historical reality And it's supposed to be very powerful stuff. So should watch it.
Where did we hear about that? I think it was on NPR.
Yeah, it was NPR because one of the guests was in it. I think it's the star of the movie, and it was pretty fascinating that there were people that were put in the cast of shows simply to amplify the power of the white people on stage. Yeah, just let
Which
that
is
linger there.
just unbelievable.
Yeah, and people deny it to this day. People deny the reality of this. You know, okay, I can't get it. I won't do it anyway.
Go to something lighter like Unfrosted.
What? Unfrosted?
Number 3.
Oh, this one. Should we? Okay, I'll go there. Anyway, Jerry Seinfeld's Unfrosted is as goofy as you'd expect in a new trailer. It's the movie that'll make you say, huh, this is Jerry Seinfeld's directorial debut. Huh. The first trailer for Unfrosted premiering on Netflix on May 3rd is here. If you're wondering why Seinfeld chose this, of all subjects, for his first outing as a filmmaker, he's just apparently been obsessed with Pop-Tarts his whole life. This whole thing is about Pop-Tarts. According to Tudum, he first mentioned the idea publicly on The Late Show in 2010 and tweeted about it again in 2018 during the pandemic. Bored and with nothing else to do, he and co-writer Spike Feresten finally said, why not? And thus Unfrosted was born.
It's interesting that the idea has been percolating for more than 10 years.
Yeah, for 14 years. Came into existence sometime after 2018 as a script. You know, this is like 5 weeks maybe of filming and turned into something, you know? Anyway, okay, so I'm going to leave it right there, and we're going to jump in the party bus and race back down Main Street. And we'll refresh the continuity report to see if anything showed up. And we will bid you adieu. I am Mayor Watt, and up there is the visualizer for the sentient AI from the future. Go for it.
Good night, down citizens. Thanks for tuning in to the continuity report. Be back shortly. We have 2 more shows today.
That's right. Up next is Technology Today, and then for Will Tech. We'll kick off Technology Today at 8 o'clock. So in about 15 minutes, folks. Bye-bye. This show never plays the outro.